Welcome to the Refine and Shine, the podcast dedicated to mastering the art of continuous improvement and optimizing every aspect of your life. I'm Angelina Rivera, your host, and together we'll uncover the secrets to refining our lives, our habits, and our processes to unlock our inner brilliance. Join us on Refine and Shine, where we'll delve deep into achieving more in life without the burnout and without all the stress. This podcast is your platform for a more fulfilling life through continuous improvement and personal growth. In each episode, I and a diverse array of guests discuss practical strategies for up-leveling every aspect of your life. From developing good habits and organizing your space to refining your mindset and personal goals, we're going to explore it all. Our guests share personal stories about the systems they've developed or systems they've used and the tweaks they've made in their lives when refinement was needed, allowing them to truly shine. Listen to Refine and Shine to learn how you can implement continuous improvement techniques in your daily routine, develop and maintain healthy habits that lead to success and satisfaction, organize your life to reduce the stress and increase your productivity, foster a growth mindset that propels you to new heights. My mission is to inspire you to take bold action, make positive changes, and become the best version of yourself. Whether you're aiming to elevate your career, nurture meaningful relationships, or enhance your overall well-being, Refine and Shine is your guiding light. With over 25 years of experience in continuous improvement, I help businesses streamline their processes, establish efficient work areas, and implement standard work protocols. I have trained over 600 individuals and teams in process improvement, optimizing workflows, and enhancing overall operational efficiency. Tune in every week as we embark on an enlightening journey, exploring paths to refinement and illuminating the way to shine in every area of our lives. Subscribe now and join us on this journey to polish your life and let your best self shine through. Thank you for joining us on Refine and Shine. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Refine and Shine. I'm super excited to have my guest, somebody that I admire, I've looked up to, and just a beautiful person. My guest today is Laurie Matson. She is a belief builder, a mindset motivator, and an advocate for women's wellness. Always drawn to the energy and support of group settings, along with her passion for helping others, she discovered her purpose during her own personal healing and growth journey, which we'll talk about in a bit. By putting herself in the room, it changed her life. It gave her permission to think beyond her limiting beliefs and dare to dream. She became a certified Pound Unplugged instructor. This inspired her to be even more creative to create something of her own. Laurie is passionate about helping women shift their perception, change their inner dialogue, and build self-belief. Her Belief Builder workshop empowers women to uncontain themselves, believe who they are, and embrace who they are meant to be. She's been married to her high school sweetheart for 31 years, and they have raised 2 amazing kids. Laurie has always encouraged them to do what makes them happy and follow their dreams. Now she's ready to do the same. Thank you, Laurie. I just loved reading that. Thank you for being on today.
Thank you so much for having me, Angelina. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so glad. Laurie is just somebody that when you look at her, like she just has this smile that just radiates and you want to like get to know this person. And I'm so excited that, I first physically met her 3 years ago and by simply putting ourselves in the room. And, but Laurie, it hasn't always been this way. You have been through a journey. And so kind of walk us through the journey of where you decided to take care of you.
Okay. So that actually happened 8 years ago. I decided to take care of my physical health and well-being. I had horrible bloating and was sick all the time and things like that. And I had my best friend talking about gut health and all of that, which you know about too. And I finally got to the point where I was like, if my husband or my kids felt as awful as I did every single day, I would do anything to help them feel better. So that was really where it started for me. I struggled for most of my life, just always wanting to be on a diet and going through the fads and being obsessed with the scale and stuff like that. I never really thought about just wanting to feel better. And it was then, once I started to feel better, that it opened up just a whole new avenue for me. Like I had clarity that I had never had before. I was no longer consumed with stress and anxiety and just all of that that I can go into some other time. But that is really what changed it for me. Like just simply feeling better really helped me feel better in other areas of my life too. And through that, I met some amazing women and started putting myself in these incredible rooms that we get to go into and make memories and just share so much. It's really, really been something that I never ever expected. And I can't believe how much my life has changed.
I love that you said that when you thought about your children, like in your husband, would you
Mhm.
want your husband or children, if they were going through these issues, you would do whatever it takes. And
Exactly.
what we also find is that us as women and mothers, we often, and even as wives, we often just put ourselves last. And I
Yes.
loved how you shared that because it was like, hey, wait, I'm not feeling well. I need to take care of me. Because if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. And I guess that's even the same concept behind the whole belief builder thing. Like we lose ourselves or sometimes we don't even know who we are. I was 18 when I got married. 3 months after I graduated high school, moved more than halfway across the country with Randy. And he was in the military and like we had nothing but each other and 2 years later we started a family. Couldn't wait to start a family, but again, we were so young and I love what we did, and I would not change a thing about it. But I realized, like, as they were getting older, especially, I had no idea who I was besides their mom and his wife, and someone that goes to work every day. I didn't have anything within me that represented me. I guess is what you would say. I was them or I was to them a mom and a wife and a coworker. Um, but I really, who was I? And so that same thing. And once I started getting into these rooms and I went on the healing journey and completely changed my mindset, I was able to shift that. And like you had read that I had always and like told my kids, do whatever makes you happy. And I wanted them to follow their dreams. And I finally, after being in rooms, seeing other people, other women specifically, pursue their dreams and hearing their stories, I was like, okay, now I'm ready to pursue mine. So,
I love that. I love that, you realized it. And it's so important because, sometimes we just it's too late and we have these goals and these dreams and we just push them down
yeah,
because we think like, who am I to do these things? And you are like, no, wait. My kids are older. I've done my job. I've raised them, and it doesn't stop when they move out of the house or when they're adults. It
no,
doesn't stop. But you still have your husband and that connections that you have to continue. But at the same
right.
time, it's making sure like what Laurie wants, Laurie's going to do. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I love that you have just recently done is the unplugged pound instructor. And I haven't seen any of that where I'm at on the West Coast, and maybe I haven't been looking, but I see them all the time on the East Coast. So tell me a little bit about what that is.
Okay. So I fell in love with Pound class years ago. I love it. I love a high intensity workout. I love the music. I love to get my aggression out with the ripsticks on the floor and just everything. I love group fitness and I loved the workout. Um, Beings that I had loved group fitness so much after I had come back from my first align, when I put it on my vision board, what I had put on there was a group fitness instructor. And I just like listed all these things that were on my vision board that I kept in my notes on my phone and never told anyone about for many, many months. But anyway, I knew that that's something that I wanted to do. I had done a PIO class with an amazing woman. She just was such an inspiration to me. And I just loved that so much. And there was a time where she was having a procedure done and asked if there was anyone that could fill in or whatever. And I so badly wanted to do that. I wanted to help her. And I was just so insecure and had no confidence. And I stood in the back corner of the room in all the fitness classes. And I didn't do it. And I felt terrible that I wouldn't raise my hand and step up to help a friend. And I was grateful that someone else did, and she was amazing at it. But I had thought about that. And then I just, like I said, I fell in love with Pound when it came out. And then I went to a Pound Unplugged class, and that is the Pound workout, the rock out workout, and then also some yoga and intentional breathing and guided meditation. And it was at my third class that I attended here locally. And that woman is an amazing instructor as well. And she was teaching Pound Unplugged. And I had gone to my third one. And it was after a dear friend of mine had passed away, and I almost didn't go to class that night. And I went because I thought, no, I'm going to go and honor her. And when I was there, something just came over me. Like, I just knew that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring this workout to women because it was a workout that I wanted to get rid of stress and, just anything that I had going on for the day and have fun. I mean, it's not about aggression, although I find that I am aggressive a bit, but it wasn't all about that. You do that and then you are able to release. Like, it was very calming at the end. It's just a beautiful thing. And I didn't realize how much it was the workout that I wanted and the workout that I needed all combined into one. And I thought, if that is what it can do for me, I would love to do that for someone else. So that is how I realized that that was what I wanted to pursue, was getting certified. And I did that last year. So
I love that. And I love that you brought up a couple of things. It was one is that you were the person who was in the back of the room and kind of
Mhm.
scared on this fitness thing, just to kind of step up. And now here you are, um, pretty much how many was it? A couple of years later, you're leading your own class. Like, you are now a full, an instructor that you can have your own classes. And I think that that's really what my listeners need to hear. Like, listen, if you're the person that's behind, waiting or shy and think that you don't matter, or you have that insecurities, like, you can change your thoughts and you can
Mhm.
do what Lori did, where she fell in love with something. And the other thing I love that you said is that you almost didn't go because your friend had passed, but you felt like
Mhm.
you needed to go, and it was such a life changer for
It
you.
was. It really, really was. It was, um, it was very special, and it was crazy. That night I came home and I'm gonna get emotional now, but I was on a coaching call, and Randy comes upstairs and he's like, "You're never gonna believe this." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You have to come and see it. It's so weird. Like, it's very strange." At the on one of the landings of our steps coming upstairs, I have candles, and the batteries had been out for a long, long time. Like, it just something, I didn't replace the batteries because it was very time consuming and whatever. And I went downstairs and one of the candles was flickering, and they hadn't been on or flickered in many, many months. It was like, I just felt that it was a true sign. And then I went back to the place where I took this class over the summer. And the woman that the instructor I was telling you about, that is just amazing, she was away and asked me if I would fill in while she was off. And the first night that I filled in that space where I took that class and realized that's what I wanted to do, this white fat at the end of class, I will never forget it. I was speaking to a woman that I had just met, and I just saw this something fluttering. And I just kind of looked over, and then I looked down, and it was a white feather. And I just believe that that was a sign. And yeah, I feel like, for sure, I don't feel like it, but I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I think that's so awesome. And that just gave me chills. It's like, we sometimes are so closed off and don't step into spaces because we just don't have belief. And you kept your eyes open, eye on the prize,
Mhm.
and you saw all these signs showing you that this is what you're meant to do. I think that's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Another thing that you've done, and I think that's so cool, is that you have this belief builder, and you talked a little bit about it. But what is that? And I know that it's like like, just tell us what it is, so that way.
Okay. So it's a workshop that I created and something that I never, ever, ever thought that I would be doing. I love group settings. Like I said, when I started the healing journey, I was in a group and I loved that. And I could just remember going through that and being like, I would love to be able to create something like that, have a space like that, a support group. And that was something else that I had thought of whenever I was at one of the events that I was at. Like that was on my vision board too, do in the room, which would just be a virtual room where we can get together and talk about good things, positive things, build each other up, and things like that. So I did that. I got certified for in Pound Unplugged and started my classes. But I had gone into this place where I was holding my very own first class, and when I was at the event last year that we go to, I had a vision of just this place with a fireplace and just there was something. I didn't know what, but when I stopped to go into where I was going to instruct the first class, there was a fireplace there. It didn't look like the one in my vision, but there was a fireplace in there. And I can remember talking to my friend that has the business that I'm like, I don't know, like there's a fireplace here. Like this feels very, very special. And so we had class there, and I told her I had this other idea that just kind of fell into me. Like, I was just like, I would love to have a women's workshop. I would love to help people, help women specifically believe in themselves because I was someone that never did believe in myself. And I really thought that in order to do the big, big things that everyone else was doing, like making moves and stepping into their dreams and things like that, I thought that I had to be so confident. And I always based my confidence on what I looked like, the number on the scale, the number in my jeans, and all of that stuff. And I realized during this whole journey that I've been on is I was putting so much into the confidence um, and basing that on what I saw in the mirror instead of who I saw in the mirror. And once I really started to uncontain myself, I know that's not a real word, but that is my word. I say it all the time. But once I really uncontained myself and stopped downplaying myself and allowed myself to be who I truly am, um, that's when the belief started building. I started to believe in myself. And that was what I needed, not the confidence, but the confidence comes from the belief. And so I created a workshop, and it's a 4-week workshop. We have different topics. There are 5 different topics that we do in 4 weeks. And I have visual elements that are specific to each week as a reminder, because as you know, Angelina, like that is so important. Like you see something and
Mhm.
we talk about triggers a lot. Well, triggers, like something triggers you negative, but this is something to, I don't want to say trigger. This is something to spark something in you.
Mhm.
And the visual elements are unique to the workshop and specific to each week. And I feel that everyone needs to maybe hear a different point of view. Maybe I know everyone needs to be around positive energy and everything that we get to experience when we put ourselves in rooms. But this is something to help you step forward into that and to help you change the tone of the conversation that you have with yourself and shift your mindset, the way you see yourself, and just really, really, really build self-belief. And I won't give all the details, but if anyone wants information, they can let me know. I'm getting ready to host another workshop. I've done an in-person 4-week one. I have done a virtual 4-week one, and I'm doing a women's workshop day and luncheon, and I'm excited about doing that. So that's what's coming next.
I love that. And and for my listeners who are not near you, I'm sure that, I'll make sure that we include your website in the show notes so that they can follow you. And That way, when there's the next virtual one, that they can sign up for that, because I think it's so important. And you said so many great things about your program, is that one, it's to, you can judge yourself by the number on the scale or the size you are and all these things, but we got to realize that it's our inner selves that really, really
Mhm.
matter. And that's so important. It's like you got to love and have confidence in who you are and who God created you to be. And I think
Yes.
that that's so important
Yeah,
because,
and oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I kept basing the confidence of what I was so desperately wanting to feel confident, and I based it on confidence boosters, not even confidence. Like, I realized that, like, yes, of course, when I hit the magic number on the scale, that made me feel a little bit more confident. And yes, when I fit into my favorite old pair of jeans, that made me feel more confident too. But really, they were boosters. They weren't really not where the confidence came from for me at all. It was feeling better, like truly feeling good inside, physically, mentally, that I was just able to, I felt like I was worthy enough or important enough or I deserved it enough to put myself into these rooms that we get to go to and into the coaching programs that we get to do. So,
I think that's so important. And, you said so many great things. It's like, in order for us, there's a couple of elements we have to find. And one, in order to feel better, is one, we got to do some healing work. You did
mhm,
the healing work. And then you
yeah,
gotta, take care of your wellness by, making sure that you are putting good nutrition to your body and things like that, because that's so important. And then you just gotta love yourself. You gotta learn how to love yourself. And all of that ties into to having that confidence, and also saying yes to opportunities, because that's
mhm,
something that you now do, is you say yes to opportunities. And
yes.
so the first group, or the personal development thing that event that you went to, was that back in 2022?
Yes, it was aligned
Okay.
in 2022. Yes, that
Yeah.
was the first one, and I went there for this is how my healing journey started. I went there my dad had passed away in 2018, and he had cancer. It was awful. In 2017, he had surgery, and, all his scans were coming back clear. Even April of 2018, his scans came back clear, and he passed in September. And it was devastating. But I was struggling at the loss of my dad. I'd never allowed myself to grieve because I had to be strong for everyone. And also, I was not there when he passed, and I had a lot of guilt about that. Randy and I were away. We were on our 25th wedding anniversary trip that he had planned. We were with friends, and I had a lot of guilt about that. And I suppressed that for years until it broke me. I was not able to work out. I could not even hold a ripstick because I had tennis elbow so bad in one elbow. And then I had plantar fasciitis in my opposite foot. So I was like really, really struggling. And I was forced to sit with my emotions and really face everything head on. And I broke. And when I went to that very first event, I was going because I just finally was like, I have to figure out how to deal with this because my dad wouldn't want me to have felt like that. And I just was losing myself. I was losing who I had started to become. And when I went, that's whenever I was introduced to our amazing friend that has helped me tremendously with my healing journey. And that is really, really where it started. And I approached her before we left. We were at a luncheon the last day, and I'm not someone that normally would go up, or at least I used to not be someone that would go up to someone and ask them for their time, so to speak. And we were getting ready to leave, and so was she. And I went up to her and I asked her, because we were talking about triggers and hijacking and things like that. I'm like, what if you're the person? What if you're the one that keeps hijacking yourself? And that's what I was doing. Every time I would be on a roll and doing something well and stuff like that, I would be I would immediately punish myself, like, because I was having such a good day or having fun or whatever it was. And that was a very huge turning point for me.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Okay, be honest. How many times have you sat down to get something done only to find yourself scrolling, checking emails, or getting lost in distractions? Yeah, we've all been there. And those distractions, they're not just stealing time, they're keeping you stuck. But here's the good news. I got a free webinar that's going to help you mastering disruptive distractions, master your productivity, and it's happening on March 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm sharing the exact strategies you need to take back control of your focus and finally start making real progress. Don't let distractions run your day. Register now at www.angelinarivera.com/links, and let's get back on track together. If you missed that link, check out the show notes with all the details. I love that. And that even though you had all these things going on, that you saw an opportunity and you decided to go. And when you went to that opportunity, you went like full on out, because in order to attend that luncheon, you had to be VIP. And so,
Yes.
yeah, me too. And that's so important, is that we see things all the time, and we can see advertisements and coaching and all these other things and events, and we have to tell ourselves that we're worth it. And so many
Yes.
times we come up with excuses. And like you said, you were like punishing yourself. And when you would go do really well, you would hijack it and punish yourself to an extent. And that's what we gotta, like, as women, we have to realize we do that to ourselves so many times. And so it's very important to put yourself into coaching programs, to say yes to opportunities, because a missed opportunity is something you like, who knows, if you're never going to be able to experience that experience again.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're missing, and you don't know how much your life can change. And it's not even just about you changing your life, but you actually change the lives of everyone around you. Like, I know that my husband and my kids are proud of me, and that they are happy that they see I'm happy. And, like, you encourage your kids, if you're parents, you encourage your kids to go after what they want and follow their dreams and do what makes them happy. And your friends, you encourage them. You always say, you can do it. You can do it. We need to talk to ourselves like that. We need to, I say, remove ourselves from the situation. When I was writing my resume for work, I had to remove myself from the situation and pretend like I was speaking that way about someone else, because it was easier for me to do that than it would be to say stuff about myself. But it's okay. And that's what I'm learning, is it's okay that we do that. It doesn't mean that you are being arrogant. It doesn't mean that you're conceited, which is how growing up, like, if you had confidence in yourself, some people perceive that to be arrogance, or that you were conceited. It is not that at all. At all. It is just, I don't know. It's peace. It's like peace within.
Yes. I love that. It is so important. And we cannot allow other negative people or jealousy and all those things take away from us what we have worked so hard from, or worked so hard for. And if we are in a situation where all we hear is negative, then we got to remove ourselves from that situation.
Right.
And
It's so true.
it's so important. And it's like and it's so hard to talk about ourselves positively. And I know that that's something that you're still working on.
I know it is. It is.
It's
Work in
continuous.
progress.
Yeah. And that's
Yes.
the thing. And that's the whole theme of my podcast, is it's refine and shine, because we're constantly, it's not like you're fine and shine. It's like we're refining, because we always have to work on improving ourselves. We always have to work to see, like, what is holding us back. And it's constant. And just like when you said you didn't say you got healed, you said your healing journey, because it's the ing, constantly healing. And and as we evolve and we become accepted to the new things, then we have other doubts and other fears, and we have to just keep on facing those things, because it's okay. What's next? And we have to, I think it's so important. And there's so many reasons why we could say no or make up excuses and stuff like that. But in reality, stepping into what we really want is so important. And
you having the vision boards and to help you keep on stay on track. And one thing though, we can't just have a vision board. We have to also talk about our vision board, which is something you do now too. Because I remember
Yes.
when we were talking earlier, you said you had a vision board, but you didn't really talk to anybody about what was on that vision board. And so we got to talk about these things so that we can get the
Mhm.
opportunities, make those connections. And I think that all of this is some of the amazing things that you do. You love to hear people's stories, you love to talk to people, and you love to help them love themselves.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Thank you.
Yeah. She is somebody like if you guys, she'll just gives the greatest hugs and just really makes you smile. And so I think
Oh,
that's important.
I love you, Angelina.
Love
I
you
can't wait
too.
to see you and hug you.
Yes, we are recording this where we can see each other next week, so it's so important.
Yes, yes, yes.
But as you go through all of this, you said your family's supportive. Has your family always been very supportive of you, your children and your husband, through all of the things that you've been going through?
Yes, they have. And, like, I know that they didn't realize how much I was struggling with the loss of my dad. I really put on a strong front. I was the person who was always fine. Even after my daughter and I were in a car accident, a drunk driver hit us, and I was fine. I was fine. I was fine until I wasn't. And I really wasn't fine. And that's another thing too that I've learned is I don't have to be fine. And it's okay for us to say, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And that was a huge thing for me to actually admit that when we were in Arizona that first year, to be able to say, like, I'm not okay. Like, I was a mess and I had no idea how to get through it. And I am so grateful for what I went through and the woman that has helped me and being in the group that I was in that was so supportive. And it's changed everything. And now conversations can be had too. That's the other thing too. We hold on to a whole lot of stuff. And I feel like I keep releasing more and more that I've held in for a long time. I did that at well, not the last retreat I went to, but the retreat before when I went to North Carolina. And I saw you there too. But I did release some stuff there. And with every time I release something, I just feel so much lighter. And really like I can hold my head higher. And when you hold your head higher, like you can see what's out there.
I love that. I love that. That's so important. You've given our listeners so many great things, and you know, just how one to say yes to opportunities, to believe in yourself, and not just be the last person or the person at the end of the room during a fitness class. All these great things. And then, of how you've taken care of your healing, and you're continuing to heal, and you've taken care of your health, and you're just doing all of these great things. But for somebody who's struggling right now, and is like, where do I even start? Or how could you give my listeners maybe a word or a phrase that they can take an action step right now in order to refine and shine?
Sure. I actually shared this earlier tonight. Who would you be if you believed in you? So, it's something I never really thought about ever. Like no one ever really said that to me as I was growing up or when we were in high school. That was nothing that was ever talked about. But really sit with that thought and like really, who would you be if you believed in you? Like who? Because I didn't believe in myself and I didn't know who I was. And now, like, as the belief was building, then I could feel different things. I was like, oh my God. And now I can't stop. And just really changing the tone of the conversation with yourself. And the workshop that I do, and the first one, I had them go to a mirror and the first thing that they had to do, and they had to look themselves right in the eye. And I encourage you to do this. Look yourself in the eye and say, you are beautiful. And then they each said something positive about themselves that they either did that day or that year or whatever it is. And I believe in you. And, like I would have been definitely the person would have been like, you're beautiful. You got the laundry done today. I believe in you. And I would have walked away. But I wouldn't let them walk away until they believed what they were saying. So, you are beautiful. I don't even know where the camera is, if this is going to be on camera, but you are beautiful. Whatever positive thing that you did or whatever you want to do, your dream, your vision, whatever it is, and then I believe in you. And it was very powerful. I was crying by the end of the night. I know some other women were crying too, but it is true. And like the thing about the whole beautiful thing, I was never someone to say, you are beautiful. I would have never said that to myself. I'm a beautiful person on the inside, and I feel that and believe that with everything in me. And when you shift to that perception and do it that way, you can confidently say, you are beautiful. I believe in you.
I love that. That is so good.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And before the last thing we need to do is before we wrap up is, how can my listeners follow you? And I'll have your links in the show notes, but just let them know for those who may be driving and can't get to the show notes right now as they're listening to this call.
Okay. So on Instagram, I'm Laurie_Matson. It's LAURIE MATSON. And then on Facebook, I'm Laurie Plazinski Matson. And I just recently launched my website, and that's lauriematson.com. And you can, that's all linked in social media too. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, listeners, give her a follow so that way you can sign up to her next virtual workshop, or if you are near her on the East Coast, you can sign up to her next in-person workshop. But I think it's so important to follow her because she is amazing and has so many great, amazing tips, and her posts on her social media are also amazing. So make sure you follow her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And that's a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Refine and Shine. We hope you find valuable insights and inspiration to fill your journey of continuous improvement. Remember, the key to success lies in refining your processes and letting your inner brilliance shine. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated and helps us reach more listeners like you who are eager to refine and shine in all areas of life. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and additional resources and behind-the-scenes content. We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to reach out with any suggestions, questions, or success stories you'd like to share. As we wrap up, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Keep striving for growth, embracing change, and seeking opportunities to refine your skills. Together, let's continue to shine bright and make a positive impact in the world. Until next time, keep refining and keep shining.